Hello. Thank you also for World Oceans Forum that I can be here. And my name is Thomas. I'm a founder of By the Ocean Unite. I'm a professional sailor and a big ocean lover. And I want to tell you something about the power of opening our eyes. The moment that I open my eyes, we're going to go to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. This picture is from the boat, the Wilde Vaart. It was a boat of 10 meters long and 2.5 meters wide. And we were sailing for 11 days already. In front of the bow, you see me standing. It was my favorite spot. And every day I could stand there for like a couple of hours. And when I watched over this blue horizon, I saw dolphins, fishes, flying fishes were hunted by tuna or dorade, beautiful sunsets. But on this 11th day, I saw something else. I saw a plastic bottle floating next to the boat. And when I saw this, it really grabbed me because I'm a really big ocean lover, and there was floating something what we can buy in every shop if we are thirsty. But it was there, 11 days from any land. And this started me thinking and also talking with the other crew members on board about what this plastic bottle was doing there. And of course I heard about a plastic island somewhere in the middle of the Pacific, but I never knew the size of the problem. And it took us 11 days before we came back to land, so it took me 11 days before I could start my research about what's happening with the plastics in the ocean. But then, after 11 days, I started researching it, and I found out that plastic only existed or was invented 100 years ago, and only really came into our lives around the 50s. So that was then 65 years ago. 65 years existence of plastic. I learned more, and I learned that all the plastic we made in the 65 years is still there, because only if we didn't put it on fire, but if we didn't put it on fire, the plastic's still there. Because plastic is such a sustainable product that nature doesn't know how to handle it. It gets fragmented to even more tinier pieces, even so tiny that we call it nanoplastic, what's smaller than a micrometer. We can't see it with the bare eyes. I discovered in 2014, when I made my Atlantic crossing, I discovered that we produced 311 million tons of plastic that year. 311 million tons. It's a number you can't grab your head around how much that is. And I found out that from that 311 million tons, 8 million tons entered the ocean that year. And this amount is increasing yearly with 8%. So we're now in 2018, so we're producing yearly over 400 million tons a year. And also that 8 million tons, what came in 2014 in the ocean, is also increased with 8%. And then I sailed along in the Caribbean, and I came in a couple of months later in Curaçao. And there I was talking with a friend. He was living there already for 6 years. And he talked about Plastic Bay. I was like, Plastic Bay, Plastic Bay. The bay has to have another name. No, Plastic Bay. And I started to ask questions about this bay. And he said, no, I can't explain. I will show you. And he took me to Plastic Bay. And what I saw there rocked my world. It was devastating. I stood there not on sand, but on plastic. As far as I could see, I saw plastic. And as I also discovered 65 years ago, there was not that much plastic in our lives. 65 years, this bay had a different name. So instead of solving the problem, we were naming the bay after the problem. I found this really crazy, and I knew that I needed to do something about it. But I also knew that doing something about it alone doesn't gonna have the impact we want. So I knew at the first moment we have to act together. And if I discovered that already, Charles Moore sailed already 10 years ago about the plastic patch in the Pacific and raised attention for this, and I, after 10 years, discovered this, and I'm a sailor and I'm a lot on the ocean. That is, a hard story to tell. So I didn't only want to tell people this, but I want to show them the experience I had on the ocean. I thought if I bring people to the ocean, they will have an experience. They get inspired by the ocean, by the nature, and they would open their eyes too. And if we all open our eyes, we can start to have making impact. So that's what we did. In 2016, the movement of By the Ocean We Unite started, and we went on an expedition to Norway. Why Norway? I'm from Holland, and if I talk with people about the plastic, people would always say, yeah, but that's far away, that's in the Pacific somewhere, or in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but it's not in our North Sea. So I want to find out, also for myself, how the state of the North Sea was. So we started to organize this research expedition, but a different research expedition than only take researchers and biologists with us, but I want to just combine this with the public. So together with experts, but also people who want to learn more about plastic, we went sailing. The research what we do is with the net, what you see there. It's called the manta trawl. It's invented to do research about plankton, but nowadays it's used a lot to do research about plastic. And what we do, we put the net for an hour next to the boat at a certain speed. And if you take the net out, we have a sample with plankton and plastic. And then the biologists on board are separating the plastic from the plankton, and we can see how much plastic we found on the miles we made. And to do this with people who know not that much about plastic, you really get a nice inspirational experience together. And it was shocking to see that the 12 samples we took all the way up to Norway and back all contained plastic. So even in our North Sea, it didn't matter where we go, but the plastic soup was everywhere. We got a lot of media attention because we reached out to the media a lot as well, because we can only take a certain amount of people with us on board, not the whole world, of course. And we want to tell our story a bit wider than only the people who were on board. Also, we invited a documentary maker who made a documentary about this expedition. And we're showing that on a lot of places, all around the world. And as we came back and the expedition was a success, we also realized the problem isn't solved. And not everybody's eyes are open. So we continued with the movement By the Ocean Unite, and now 2.5 years further, we organized 5 big expeditions around the North Sea, but also we sail with companies to spread their education and awareness within the companies. Nice thing to see there is that when companies come along with us, you see that they're within the companies, because the whole department goes along, and if they come back to work on Monday, they all start to talk with each other about it and take also action within the company. So you see small plastic teams popping up and for example, a pledge that the company is being pet-free. So no plastic bottles being sold in the company and allowed in the company, but people take their own reusable bottles. So we create impact like that. As we see about all the samples we took, we are sharing that with the Five Gyres Institute. Five Gyres Institute from America is mapping with sailors globally how much plastic on the world is founded. We also did an expedition this year around Denmark, but those samples are still in progress, so I couldn't show it to you. And as we started to grow as an organization, our vision is that the first starting point is education and awareness. And in that way we create, because from awareness, innovation, like also the Davids and Richards just told about, are starting. And so the baseline is the education and awareness, and how more aware we become, how more change, innovation and solutions will come. Because as the first David said, we are people and we are really innovative, and we are really we are explorers and inventors, and so I really believe we can tackle this problem. As our organization grows, we also started another project 1.5 years ago in 2017. It's a project on an island, the island of Silba in Croatia. It's an island of 15 square miles and with 115 people living there. Only in the summertime, because Croatia is a big tourist country, there are coming 8,000 people to the island. So that's a massive impact for the island. And we came there first to research how we can make from this island a plastic sustainable island. But in the first expedition we discovered that plastic sustainable, there comes more to it. Because it's not only about waste, it's about energy, it's about fresh water, it's about the sea around it and the fish we take out of the ocean. So it became more, how can we create a circular island? And for that we need, of course, community of the island. So the main thing we are doing now is a lot of social science, researching the community of Silba, what do they think the problems are, and what we find out, we thought plastic was their main issue, but last expedition we found out that 90% of the island community sees the septic tanks and the fresh groundwater getting polluted because of the 8,000 people coming in the summer to the island was the main topic. And we believe to change, to make a change and to get really the community behind us and also willing to make this island circular is to tackle first that problem before we're going to say, hey, you got a problem, and that's plastic pollution. So we're working on that very hard with a lot of experts, and the idea is that Project Silba, Silba is the name of the island, it's also the name of the project. It stands for Sustainability Increases Life Benefits for All. And the idea is that this is a pilot project, and all the success cases we're going to implement on the island, we're going to also expand to other islands. We're building on a website, so also other islands can already start learning with us as we are in the process of learning. So yeah, that's our project Silba. Then we really believe in the power of bringing experience to the people for opening their eyes on plastic and sustainability. We do that a lot with film as well. So I also want to show you a short trailer of our next documentary, what's coming out somewhere around the beginning of next year. And if you can start the movie.
We all understand climate change and the need for climate action. Now we need to understand ocean change and the need for ocean action. It's not something that an individual, a responsible individual, should shirk. Every second breath you take comes from the life within the ocean.
And we cannot be in a state of denial. Skepticism is the essence of all science. Denial is not.
In the time that I've been around, I've seen the ocean decline. I mean, seriously decline. Changing the temperature, changing the chemistry of the ocean, depleting the wildlife, the collapse of whales. We generally stopped killing whales and they've started to recover. We haven't stopped killing tuna and they're not. They're going like this.
We need to act immediately against the fishing institution in Mexico that is Conapesca, because they've been doing it pretty bad since the 1950s until nowadays. Jacques Cousteau named it the aquarium of the world in the late 80s, and if we don't do something extremely accurate, it will turn into a cemetery, marine cemetery.
Start today. Skip the straw. Say no to single-use plastic. Every action counts. There isn't a small action. The small action contribute to something bigger. Do something. Anything will help at this point.
Do you have children? Do you care about the world that your children are going to grow up in? Obviously, as an owner of a big corporation, your children will be okay, but don't you want to make them proud and have them know that you've made a difference in the world and not just increased your own worth?
So, I want to look front with you to the future. I really believe that if we're going to keep telling each other this story and going to keep showing each other the beauty of nature and the most important of nature, because if you look at it, we are nature and we also are a part of nature. And if we want to give this world to the next generation, we should make, in this generation, one united voice. One united voice as public that we need to make a change. And if we do that, companies, politicians will follow. And you already see it happening you see it happening all around the world. But we have to change faster, and so, show each other the beauty of the nature and the ocean, and start with small things in your own life, and if we all do that, we are making a big impact. So that's the power of opening our eyes. Thank you very much.